This is a podcast about understanding counselling and how it works in everyday life. In this episode, we'll explore what counselling offers over time and why its value is often felt gradually rather than immediately. When people first think about counselling, they often imagine it as something that produces answers, a clearer understanding, a moment of insight, a sense that something is shifted. While those moments can happen, they are not usually what makes counselling useful in the long run. What counselling offers over time is not a solution but a different relationship with experience. In everyday life, most people move quickly from one situation to the next. There is little space to pause and notice patterns as they form. Reactions happen, decisions are made, and life continues. Counselling introduces a regular interruption to that pace. That interruption matters. Over time, sitting with the same person in the same space with the same structure creates continuity. Experiences are not treated as isolated events, they are seen in sequence. What seemed unrelated at first starts to connect. People often notice that the same themes appear in different stories. Similar feelings arise in different contexts. Familiar tensions return in new forms. Counseling does not rush to resolve this repetition, it stays with it long enough for it to become clearer. This links back to what we explored earlier about patterns in daily life. Outside counselling, patterns are often only noticed when they cause disruption. Inside counselling, patterns can be observed even when things are relatively stable. That changes how people relate to them. Another thing counselling offers over time is a steady point of reference. When everything else in life shifts, the counselling space remains consistent. This consistency allows people to notice changes more accurately. Without a stable reference point, change is hard to measure. For example, someone might realize that a situation which would previously have felt overwhelming now feels manageable, or that they recover more quickly after a difficult interaction, or that they are able to tolerate uncertainty with less strain. These shifts are often subtle but cumulative. Counseling also offers time to slow reactions down. In everyday life, responses often need to be immediate. Counseling allows responses to be examined rather than acted on. Over time, this can influence how people respond outside the session as well. It is important to note that counseling does not remove difficulty from life. Stress still happens. Relationships still change. Uncertainty remains. What changes is how these experiences are met. People often describe feeling more spacious internally, not because life is easier, but because there is more room to think, feel, and choose. This space is not created through instruction, it develops through repeated experience of reflection. Counseling also helps people recognize when something belongs to the present and when it belongs to the past. Over time, this reduces the sense that every situation carries the same emotional weight. Experiences become more differentiated rather than blended together. The gradual differentiation is one of the quieter benefits of counseling. It does not announce itself, it shows up in small decisions, in how people respond to others, and in how they speak to themselves. Understanding counseling as something that works over time helps set realistic expectations. It is not about constant improvement, it is about increased awareness, steadier regulation, and a clearer sense of what is happening internally. These changes often continue outside the counseling room. People notice themselves pausing before reacting. They become more aware of their limits. They recognize familiar patterns sooner. Counseling also supports these shifts, but does not replace everyday life where they are tested. In the next episode, we'll look more closely at how counseling changes the way people relate to their own experience, not by altering what happens, but by changing how it is understood and responded to. That's the scope of this episode. Each episode focuses on one specific theme, and this was it. We'll leave it here for now and move on in the next episode.